Are we back on here? Welcome back to part 6. Big shout for Valerie Lynn, Gary's mum, our producer, who's just kindly given us a homemade cake of walnuts and dates. Dates, yeah, we'll have the dates here. So if we get sticky when we're talking, don't worry about it. It's not a big, it's not Wogan, is it? Jegs, looking at these photos he's brought, I don't know if you can zoom in, I haven't got the editing skills yet, but that's Jegsy when he was in his prime, when he became, if not. How did it go then? So, start off, what got you into music and how did you form a band?
I was writing a bit of poetry. I think everyone has a little dabble now and then. And I knew Peter Hooton from the farm, but they weren't big then. They were just like, you know,
Same as you, yeah.
Yeah, just starting out. And did a couple of gigs with them. The first one was at the State, with a band called A Certain Ratio, and the farm. And then we did one for the high school stadium, kind of. We brought some Juventus fans over on the Royal Iris. And I was on that with the farm and a couple of other bands. John Peel was there and stuff. And he said to me after the gig, he said, "You're going to have to come to London and do a session for Radio 1.
Is this John Peel, yeah?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah. So you think no more about it. And then a week later, I got a call. You got to go down to Maida Vale and record a session. Which for the engineers in the studio was easy because I'm just doing poetry.
Yeah.
And I think, well, this is a day off for us. All we got to do is record your voice and then just do a few effects. You know, a bit of keyboard or something behind. And John Peel said it'd be better if you had a band, you know. So when I got back, because I'd been on John Peel, everybody wanted to be in the band because they knew I had my foot in the door. So I got a band straight away and started touring and doing stuff. It's difficult for any band really because you've got to get out of your hometown or your home city and you've got to spread your wings a bit. It's so easy to be in a band playing your local pub and all your mates are there all going mad and you think you've cracked it where you haven't, you know, and you know, even if it's just going up the road to Manchester, it's a new audience and you've got to spread yourself out. So we would rather lose money by playing in London. So that's van hire and hotels and all that. And you get paid shit money. But the audience, there might only be 50 people in the audience, but 3 of those are from the music paper, 2 are from record companies, there's this one, that one, you know. So it's more influential down there. So we did that. And obviously, again, like I was saying before, all your mates want you to play a gig for them, for their birthday or their football team or whatever, and it's just endless.
Who were the sons of Harry Cross then? Who was with you then? Because his band's name was Jegsy Dodd and Sons of Harry Cross.
Well, we had there was 2 drummers. We had Paul Spencer and then we had Rob Steady.
Are they still going, yeah?
Yeah. Storm, she was on bass. There used to be a lad called Jacko. And then Ken Hancock was the guitar. But I'd still do gigs on my own because it was easier sometimes. You know, if there was a big bill.
Just to get up and recite them.
The farm would say. You could basically go on and do a set while there's a changeover behind it on the back line. You know,
keep it rolling.
Moving a drum kit or something, you just go on and talk shite for 20 minutes. And you get paid.
Well, some of your shite, if you want to research, if you don't know Jegsy Dodd, you made an album which always sticks out when my brother Cliffy was a big fan. Have you seen this? I think was it American Werewolves from Birkenhead? Or was it Werewolves?
Wine Bars and Werewolves.
Oh, sorry, Wine Bars and Werewolves, yeah. Don't know what the American Werewolf, I think it was. But some of the stuff on there it blew me away when I listened to it. There was one called the Beer Belly Bully Boys from Birkenhead and B minor. Very cleverly written, by the way. You know, considering when you go through all the matches and that, is this what you thought about when you was on the train and stuff? And...
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. There's a lot of stuff when you write and you think, you look back, you know, like now, and you think, what an absolute pile of crap, you know. Yeah. But then you get the odd one and you think, that's not bad. That stands up today, you know.
Yeah.
And certain ones I'm proud of and certain ones I'm ashamed of.
I mean, like, if they should do that again, could you recite that one for us, Jegs, the Beer Belly Bully Boys?
I haven't got a clue of any of them. I have to read them.
Well, I took I took it on board, and I tried to do something in when I was away in Keegan, and they actually just said do some poetry and stuff, you know, and I was made up that I thought, well, everyone's going to be reciting different things, and I used that piece. I think it was the Busy's eyes bulges. Was Brian, the biggest, baddest beer belly bully boy from Birkenhead, bladdered his way into a bar in downtown. Busy's build, bell over, back up. It's those bastard beer belly bully boys, bladding their way into a barrel of Bobbins and bitter, breathing bad burpy breath onto the bastard Busy's. Something like that anyway, but it wasn't as good as Jegs. But do you know what though? I was getting into it, you know, but for 2 days I was just going, the Busy, I was going for it again, mad, you made me mad.
It is mad because when you're on stage and the pressure's on,
sweating,
you're thinking, oh, if you fluff one, you could fluff the whole lot. So I always used to read, and my mates would say, just don't read it, just remember it and do it. But if you do, it's all right with a band, because
you can get into it.
Yeah, when you're with a band, if you mess it up, you just sit down and laugh, or he does a bum note.
Yeah,
you're all in it together.
Yeah.
When you've just got the spotlight above your head and the audience is dead quiet, you've got to deliver it. So you think, just take the lyrics on with me and do it. You know, it works sometimes.
It works, but you know...
It's weird though, because you can do a gig, say, in one town, and you'll do exactly the same gig in the next town. And the difference is mad. You can have one with the stage invasion, and people go mad and all and all that, and the next one people is going, hey, what, who?
I don't get
poetry. What are you on about?
Poets? You're a poet? I mean, there's not many fellas that, what are you, I'm a poet. And, you know, them days as well, Jegs, you know, to be a poet and a football hooligan, it's a pleasure. No, I'm not saying you're a hooligan, no, I'm just saying... I
don't even think I've used the word poet, because it does sound a bit pretentious if you say, oh, I'm a poet, because I write poetry, but I wouldn't call myself a poet, if you know what I mean.
Big shout for our Paul Griffiths, the Birkenhead poet, a.k.a. He does a lot of poetry all the time. He's proud, he loves words, he loves messing around with words. Anthony Usher, Tony Usher, he's another one who writes his poems every day. Keep them going, because poems are great, because this song, they always say, write a song from a poem, and I'm thinking, that Paul gives me like 2 pages, all knowledge, but I like taking little snippets, you know. It was a success, because I remember like your album, I think it got sold worldwide, didn't it, with John Peel sort of, he was on the radio with
in those days, you used to get prints out of where you'd been played. Obviously not now, everything's digital now. But it used to be weird, you'd be like Tel Aviv radio, you could pay £8.62 for
royalties of Tel Aviv, yeah.
Or Amsterdam radio, or just weird place, and you think. And you get some weird stories. I remember we were in a studio in Raby Mere, you know, kind of a country house thing.
Yeah.
And the bloke who owned it came up with this girl, and we were recording something there. And he said, you're not going to believe this. He said, I've been downstairs speaking to this girl who's just come back from Mexico. And she said to me, who's Jegsy Dodd? And he went, why have you asked that? And she went, well, I was in Mexico, and there was a lad with a t-shirt on, and he was saying to Jegsy Dodd, he's from Merseyside. And he went, he's upstairs now. And she went, no. And then she came up, and all that, and I was like, wow, how weird's that? You know? It's
Jegsy Dodd! I've seen you on the beach in Mexico. Do you know what's amazing?
And the other mad one was Charlie, we made from Birkenhead. He was in Vancouver at a party, and he said, what's this party?
Canada.
And the lad rocked up with the t-shirt with the cracked face on, from the jewel and the flat cap. You know, that cracked face thing. And he went, how do you got Jegsy's t-shirts on? He's my mate. You know, I'm sure you just phone number on my phone and all that, you know. And he went, oh, he's sound. And then he said, the weirdest bit was, he said, I don't know how they got on the subject of the colour of my skin, but the lad was convinced I was black.
Yeah. Maybe Jegsy's like, hey, Jegsy, like an old...
I have no idea what he was saying. Oh, no,
but you don't like the line, like, do you, Jegsy? No, you must have been cringe, you know, thinking, no, leave it alone.
I'm definitely not.
Can you sign this, please?
I'm not sure, but
yeah.
One of the things which, because I'm opinionated and I have a bit of a rant here, people think I'm like full on. I'm not. I used to find it really difficult to accept a compliment. You know, if someone said, "Oh, I love your stuff,"
yeah,
and I've got all your albums, I've got this, and I go, "Oh, have you?"
He told me to fuck off once I was a kid. Saw the tournament, I went, do us a favour, he told me to fuck off at the bar. I was like, do you know that's, he went,
You just made that up.
no, what Cliffy was there, Cliffy sounding, he was like, no, mention that.
No,
I get you.
I used to find it difficult to take it on board if anyone was really nice, you know. I didn't know how to accept a compliment. Instead of saying, "Oh, cheers, that's very nice, thanks very much," you know, I used to go, "Oh, do you? Oh, right, okay, that's great.
Selfie. No, Jegs. Look, the music and the scene, so you met loads of characters. You mentioned Peter Hooton from the farm, you know, all together now, all together. Do you know, do you get, I mean, there's always a, with that connection with Anfield, because you've got different sorts of groups in Anfield, you know, like you've got the Hillsborough, we haven't talked about yet, that you've got like a big, massive sort of support. What are the, are you in the Spirits of Shankly or is it what?
Yeah, I mean, the Spirits of Shankly do a lot of good work and all that, like, and they have done for ages, and you know, they support people. They've done a lot of food ambers and all that since the COVID thing's been on. Liverpool it's very organised. The fans, you know, when they want to kind of demonstrate or let the feelings be known of a price in tickets and whatever, you know, and to chase the other owners out as well, they can do it, you know. They're a great fan base, but I mean, obviously they're not a great fan base to other clubs. Other clubs just think we're a gang of divvies, you know. And you can understand why people don't like us, because we are a bit kind of brash and we do kind of pretend that we're looking down on them and we are the greatest thing. But then I think every club does that. Their fans, you know, I'm sure United fans think they're the greatest things.
That's what I'm trying to say, you know, we're the pride of Merseyside, Everton, and Everton it's that, you've got to have that, because then, you know, but speaking back to football, you know, over the years that you've collected, you know, all the trophies, and then, you know, you've seen things that you will never see, as you've said, which is totally right, through the fashion and stuff, and, you know, and it's sometimes, you're not boasting, but it did happen, you know, that's the way it is.
It's facts, really, you know, we have done all these things, and if you say it, people think, oh, you're showing off and all that, but it's like, you know, if I'm arguing with that Evertonian, it's like, which happens quite a lot, and I'm hitting them with facts, you know, shooting from the hip and going, but you know, you don't get any fair, they just go round in circles.
So this is the, hang on. Sons of Harry Cross. Harry Cross was on Brookside, if you didn't know. Great character. He was always moaning when he Harry Cross, though.
That's why we chose him as the name.
Yeah, he was always
moaning.
moaning.
We were like, heading for a youth market, we want someone who doesn't basically like the people we are.
Yeah, just go out and play. Nasty bastard Harry Cross. This one here springs to mind. Mr. Nice. Tell us about Mr. Nice. Did he export? He's like a major cannabis exporter,
biggest
worldwide.
Yeah.
From Wales, is he?
Wales, yeah.
Wales.
Welsh boy.
So I mean, the stories of him, you know.
Just that night alone was mad, because my mate was working at V2 Record Company, which was fairly new at the time.
Yeah, right.
And I remember I was going with him when they were signing the Stereophonics, which was a bit weird because we were in a tiny little club with about 30 people. And there's my mate and his mate who's going to sign him. And he said, what do you think? And I went, pub band. You know, so they are a pub band.
You were saying the pub band for Stereophonics, yeah?
Yeah, and he was going down, they'll sell well in America and all that. And anyway, they signed him. But V2 had this launch party for something.
Yeah.
And then my other mate, James Brown, had a Loaded magazine, and they were having a launch of something. I think they were launching a CD, a Loaded Lock-In Lads Night Out, whatever. And then really they moved the whole thing back from London to the Banana Warehouse in Nottingham, where that photo was taken, because Paul Smith, the designer, he was from Nottingham. So it ended up a three-pronged party kind of thing. So it was V2 Record Company, Loaded Magazine and Paul Smith. He said, do you want to go? Like, so, of course I want to go.
Yeah.
Might get a pair of Paul Smith undies or something, you know. So we went, and there's about 10 of us, the lads from the farm and a few odd bods. And we went, and it was just fantastic. But when we were getting in, the bouncers weren't having it. And they were going, you can't come in, double scousers there, you know, to tell if it looks wrong, you know, because we weren't all dollied up with, you know,
sticky bows and whatever,
top ladies on our arms, and that. We just 10 of us turned up, and they were like, oh,
but you had your cap on, didn't you?
We might have looked dodgy, I don't know. And, we made Kevin work for V2, he was outraged, he was like, oh, no, don't worry. And he's arguing with the bouncers, then he gets in, he speaks to influential people. And they're always like, at these events, there's some camp bloke on the door, you know, with his mic, and you know, and all the rest of it, you can't come in. It's like, no, we are part of this. Anyway, we got in, and then we went into the VIP thing, and he was in there, and we'd met him a few weeks before at some GQ event, I think. Yeah. So we half knew him, but there was loads of people in there. There was like Page 3 birds and stuff like that.
Yeah, just straight away.
Lindsay Dodd, McKenzie, I didn't even know she was at the time.
Lindsay Dodd, McKenzie.
You know, she had got a photograph there, who was sitting with her. And they even had Nottingham Forest players there, and I didn't even know who they were.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know.
At the time.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, Mr. Nice was there. He was just so casual, you know.
He's had a mad life. You know.
Yeah, Mr. There's a film, was it, Mr. Nice?
Yeah, and his books and all that.
You know, he's against like the Colombian cartel, and he's arguing with them. Yeah, chopped off with them.
You know, he got out alive.
I mean, I'll just quickly go through them because we'll be putting these on a post underneath so we can get them all, so you can see. Jegsy Dodd in the book. That's all I see, by the way. You don't like taking selfies. You're always a bunch of men doing what? Describe that, mate, Jegs. What's this one?
That's in the dressing room at Santorini in California with Maddness.
Maddness.
Me and Kev went with them for, they were doing a tour up there. So we went to San Diego, Santa Barbara, Hollywood, Los Angeles and all that with them. And then they carried on to Hawaii and we came home. But it was a good laugh to see how the other half did, because obviously when we were involved in music, we're nowhere near at that scale.
Level.
Yeah, and then you go into these places where the dressing room is just full of anything you want. All the dolly beds and everything. Yeah. All, especially like Los Angeles, you get all the British pop stars who live in America, they would turn up. So there'd be people who would come and Elvis Costello past you or whatever in the dressing room. And we basically had access all areas, so we could, if the band were on, we could just go to the dressing room and have a drink.
Yeah.
If we didn't want to watch the band or
watch them get changed.
But then we always left them. We kind of give them if they're doing a sound check, that last bit before they go on, so they can get their heads
together. What was Suggs like? Is he down to earth? Suggs, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
He always comes across like the normal, like,
he's just
like us, you know.
The most normal bloke you'd ever meet. He's a Chelsea fan, likes his football, but he says weird things like, I'd love to be like you could just get up in the morning, go for a pint, then you go for put a bet on, then go to the match, go for a bet. He said, I can't do that, because as soon as I go in the betting office, put a bet on, it's like, Suggs. Oh, yeah. Autographs, all this photographs and all that. Then you go to the match and it's just constant, everyone's looking at you. And so it's awkward for them. It must be like that for anyone. You know, imagine being like someone like Klopp, where you just want to go for a walk through the countryside, and even there, the one person you pass is going to go, oh, you know.
I know.
It must be hard.
It is hard, you know. The fame as it's, you know, it's got. You can imagine like Beatlemania. You know, the shows with like John Lennon getting chased like that. At first, it's great. You know,
weirdly, the only place you can go and hide is the most kind of media-friendly place in the world, America, because they don't like football.
Yeah.
So, or they pretend they like it, but you know, if you were like David Beckham, that's probably the safest place for you to go without someone doing your editing
all the time. Yeah. There's the man himself who gave me a nightmare on my first derby. Mr. Ian Rush. Very Rush. To speak, I mean, Did you speak to Ian a couple of times?
Yeah, he's a good lad.
I've seen him in town. He just drinks. Yeah. And he gives you time of day. There was a case when we lost my mum. My mum died, and one of my mates went over because our Cliffy's a staunch thread, and he listened to it.
Yeah.
But he must get that all day. But he signed the book, and I don't leave him alone. He's a you know.
I introduced Cici to him.
Yeah.
In the Black Horse one.
Cici, you're coming on by the way. Staunch Blue. Cici.
We were in Edinburgh, and I knew we buried in there. Him and Jan, and I think Michael Thomas buried in there as well.
Jan Mulvey, Michael Thomas, yeah.
And we were in there, and she's really like, "Hi, Jegsy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, sound, yeah." I said, "Oh, I've got someone I want you to meet." Oh. And Cici come in, and he went, "Oh, not that bastard." And he calls him E.T.
E.T.
Oh, E.T.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, this is my mate Cici." And he went, "All right, and all that." And Cici went, "I hope you realise how many fucking Saturday nights you've ruined for me over my lifetime." And he went, "But at least deep down, I know you're a blue." And he went, "No, I'm fucking not."
Did you say that?
So I hate Everton.
Deep down, they hate Everton. Russia's got no sense. Well, the banter lives on, and that's great for the city.
Yeah.
What's this one, Jegs, when you're this is like now you got your head above the pulpit.
It's just
Is that an album cover or something?
Promo shot. And,
A promo shot?
Yeah.
Well, Karen, he was a handsome chap.
The photographer could have done one then, and I wouldn't have been able to get out there, you know.
Seriously, yeah. Where was that? Is that it's
Formby.
Oh, Formby, yeah.
Formby, yeah.
Oh, TL. Looks like some out of Africa somewhere. You know, you brought these photos, which is great to share. Who's this fella?
Jimmy McGovern.
Jimmy McGovern.
This was a last minute thing. This was about half an hour before I was leaving the house doors. If we don't have things to say, I'll just grab a few photos of people, and then that could spark us.
Who's been your best friends in your life who you've been like through as well with all these photos?
But you go through stages of life with different people, really.
Yeah.
You have your diehard friends, your matchmates as well. It's weird because sometimes you would have all the lads you go to the match with, and then you'd come back here and you'd have all your mates here.
Yeah.
You know, your TC, Frank and all this crowd here. And then you'd have your music-y type people, and then, you know, basically normal life.
It's like that one, this fella there, that's
Frank Sidebottom.
Frank Sidebottom.
I had that head on, you know, just before that.
Was that you had the handle, yeah? You had the Frank Sidebottom. There you go, yeah. He's all going on the aftermath of Links, by the way.
He has to have a wet flannel on his paper mache head.
Yeah.
Before he puts it on,
Oh,
it's so hot inside.
So,
He's great, Frank.
Frank Sidebottom. He looks like is that Ian McCulloch, is it?
Yeah, Ian McCulloch. That's in Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
We were doing a tour over there, and it was two women who were running our tour, and we had a day off. We were staying in Wiesbaden, and she said, "Everyone the money man from Liverpool playing in Frankfurt tomorrow night. Is there any way we could get in? You know, should we go? We'll get a driver, we'll fill a minibus and we'll go." And I said, "Yeah, all right, yeah, I'll try and sort it out." So we got there in the afternoon and went to this huge place and knocked on the door. This is only about like 4 or 5 o'clock. And weirdly, the bouncers were Australian things. Germany, English band, bouncers, Australian.
Yeah.
And we said, "They want to see the band." They went, "Oh, you can't do that. They're eating." "Yeah, well, like, we want to see them. We want to get in for tonight." "Oh, no, you can't do that." I was like, "Oh, what are we going to do here?" So I said, "Right, quick note. I like boys. Jegsy Dodd, sun's very close. Outside, any chance of black and tickets for tonight?" And within 5 minutes, the whole band are come, "Oh, what are you doing here?
Jegsy,
what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
We're playing a very low-key, small tour, you know.
Yeah.
A fifth of the size, about a tenth of the size of what
Did you establish with John Peel before the Echo, weren't you? You know, like that, was that the same sort, or was you becoming before that?
They were before us.
Oh, was they before, yeah.
So they had a different league to us.
Yeah.
But he said, "Oh, we'll leave stuff on the door for you. So go and have a bevy and all that, and we'll sort everything out for you, passes and all that." So we did all that, and then we went backstage after that's where that photo was taken backstage. And then they were getting off something, so we went on the tour bus with them and drinking tequila and all that. I remember they had tour t-shirts, like Fred Perry's, but it just had Deutschland tour.
Okay.
1987, 88.
88, yeah.
And then Will Sargent, who did, so I remember having the shirt off his back saying, "Oh, I'll have that," you know, because they're going to lash it.
Oh, you lash it, yeah.
But that was great seeing them, and then we carried on with our tour, and they carried on with their thing. But yeah, we were they're completely different levels to us, you know.
What's I mean,
They gave us a good shout, though.
you keep knocking yourself down. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't like compliments, Charles Jack. But obviously, some of your
They gave us a good shout.
Yeah, they gave you a good shout.
It was painted black by the Stones.
Yeah.
And they said this one's dedicated to our mate Jegsy Dodd.
Yeah. So you got in, for like saying hey to the doorman, see what I mean? You
should have had it checked as well.
You mean like, you know, do you know who I am? You know, you just don't like that. All right, yeah. This one here as well, it was this fella here.
Mick Jones at the Clash.
Mick Jones at the Clash, yeah.
Big audio dynamite and that.
So did you gig with alongside them or just on your travels?
That was at the Farms Drummers wedding reception at Brookside,
yeah.
in the club. So
Brookside,
because they both worked at Brookside, they hired out the set for the do.
Yeah. Oh, so you had to hide the whole like the thing for the do and everyone party different houses.
Yeah.
Which house was you in at the Harry
club thing we were kind of.
Oh yeah, on the club thing.
Landoons or something.
Yeah,
it was alright. That was a good night.
I met Terry, you know, there out of Brookie.
Yeah.
In the free hotel.
Yeah.
Terry, I remember his first name, he cracking fella.
Oh,
we had a laugh like, I get his name. Yeah, he ended up on the wrong side, I think.
Yeah.
He was harmless, you know.
Outside the Belvedere in
Eccles, that's right. His head was up his arse, bless him. But you know what? Great, and he's out there, and he's just that down to earth people.
Yeah.
But he should do his head because he was like the same, like, it's Terry, he was like, not my name's, you know what I mean? I'll get his name now. Quote me down, folks, I'm just going to go blank. But people like that, they just don't like to be, you know, you're such and such, and after a while it gets on the nerves.
Yeah.
The Clash, I mean, did you keep in touch with these fellas, or you just...
I wasn't busy mates with them, you know, but they were one of my favourite bands, so...
What's your favourite record from the Clash,
yeah, of course. Stay Free is quite good. There's loads of great combat rock, you know.
I didn't ask you, sorry, about your inspiration of music. What was your favourite band when you growing up which stands out, which sort of...
God, there's been so many. Kind of middle of the road popular stuff, I would say. Bands like R.E.M. and that, you know.
Yeah.
Old stuff, everyone goes on about the Beatles. I always preferred the Kinks. I don't know why. Just thought they were better storytellers. They're dead underrated, I think. But the Jam and the usual stuff, Joy Division. Weirdly, a lot of Manc bands.
Yeah.
You know, the Smiths and all that, the Fall. I've never really liked commercial stuff because people always say, "Oh, you're in a band. How come you're not on Top of the Pops?" I said, "Because we don't write stuff which is right to stuff. We don't write pep songs, you know, verse, chorus, and all the rest. Because there's a formula, you know, you do your two verses, then your chorus, dip it down a bit, come back up, rise and up. It's almost like raving when people are raving. You're coming up, you're coming up, you're coming up, you're coming up, and then bang.
Crescendo,
That's the formula, and we thought, I'll just talk a load of nonsense, have the band behind us, and we'll do our own thing. It's a kind of anti-pop star thing.
Yeah,
well, people think, people can't get their heads around it thinking, well, why are you in a band if you don't want to be dead, famous and successful? Well, obviously you want to be successful, but you want to be successful like, say, Half Man, Half Biscuits, who are not dead famous and not dead commercial, but they sell out wherever they go, and they've got a massive fan base. You know, a great band.
All I want for Christmas is a Dupla heart, Park away kit, big yellow kit.
But they call the shots, you know, they don't do interviews, they don't need the photographs everywhere.
They're doing it their way, you know what I mean?
As John Peel said, that Nige, who's the singer to me mate, is one of the last great British successes. You got a picture of that John Peel here, haven't you, Jegs? John Peel,
Yeah, all his John Peel and Jegs. He took a shine to you, didn't he? You know.
I remember we went.
He gets so undercredited, John Peel, and now it's coming out.
It's great.
Yeah.
But he's so normal.
Yeah.
He's not like, hey, here we are, you know, hey, look at me. He's just like, right, okay, this is a good song. Here we go. He took us out for an Indian meal in Bristol one night when me and the Biscuits were down there. I don't know why I put that one in there.
Me and the Biscuits is great, that, isn't it? Me and the Biscuits are out there, that's just funny.
He just took us for an Indian, and it was just the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah.
And
Who's paying at the end and all that sort of
it was their first gig outside Merseyside at the Bristol Tropic, and it was because when we got there, the queue was up the street around the block, and then we were going, wonder who's playing there.
Yeah.
And it was us, you know.
Yeah.
I was like,
wow, yeah, so what was the best gig you'd done where you thought, and because you don't like getting credit, but when the crowd were loving it, the stadium, and you felt, yeah, I am someone.
we've had some weird ones.
Yeah.
There was one on the German-Danish border. I think it was called Rensberg. And we were in this place. And even though they probably hadn't heard any of the songs before, they all started joining, they kind of got a vibe going.
Yeah.
And they were going, oh, and it was the whole place.
Yeah.
And then the stage got invaded. And then the police came in to close the gig down. And I just said to the lads, just keep playing. So we were playing, and the police were on the stage, so stop us. And the crowd were going,
It's all rock and roll, yeah.
they're all going mad. So we carried on with the tour around Germany, up and down Hamburg, all over the place. And then got a call saying, they want you back in that Rensberg. When we were still in Germany 3-4 weeks later, we went, yeah, it was great up there, let's go back. So I went there. There's loads of Nazis, kind of neo-Nazi kind of Z-kind and all that there. They weren't happy about music and people having a laugh. So we finished, did the gig, wasn't as good as the first one. Got back, and the venue had been burnt down the night after, completely cindered.
It's strange, isn't it? Spite, you cannot have any music. There's not more fun, like nowadays, we're in a lockdown now.
It's horrible now.
Jegsy, honest to God, thank you very much for listening to Jegsy's Music Trials. All his links, by the way, type in Jegsy Dodd, Sons of Harry Cross, and you get all of his links on YouTube. Stand by for part 8.